Well, let's just start with a quote, because what we're about is really, really amazing, awesome, and important work. And this is a quote from our dear Brian Swim, who is such a core inspiration for everything that we do. The quote is, "Each person discovers a field of allurements, the totality of which bears the unique stamp of that person's personality. Destiny unfolds in the pursuit of individual fascinations and interests. By pursuing your allurements, you help bind the universe together. The unity of the world rests on the pursuit of passion." So we're going to talk more about specific allurements later. But for now, why don't we just, I know we kind of did this a little bit, but just go around the circle and say your name and where you are and how you found out about this program. I know we said this a little bit, but let's be more systematic this time. Ken, let's start with Ken.
Okay. My name is Ken Miller, and I'm from New Jersey. I live in Manahawkin, New Jersey. And I found out about the program through Professor Conwell back in 2020. And so I've been taking courses since 2020, the fall of 2020.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Ken. Yeah, you're a very familiar face in the Deeptime community. Ever since Sarvmeet brought you in. Yeah. Okay, Mary.
I think I did not find out about it from Global Sisters Report, but I don't know for sure because I get so many webinars and I'm like, okay. Brian Swim was a teacher of mine when I attended Creation Spirituality out in Oakland in the late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So we came home and established an environmental education place for children. And Miriam Treese McGillis came out and we talked, and she became a mentor of mine. We started some biodynamic gardening and had a CSA and have a lot of things going. And so when I saw the names of this, I knew most of the people. So I said something to Matt that this might be a really important thing for him to join. So I hope he gets that registration in there.
Yeah, great.
So that's a little bit of my background. I'm older and retired, and he is stepping into lead things. So I look forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've got some good people out in the Midwest, you know, who are great connections.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so why don't we go to M?
Well, I think it was an amazing set of events, a synergy that got me here. I went to a program that I found through the Forum on Religion and Ecology. And John Grimm was being interviewed about both Tilliard and Thomas Berry. And it reminded me, so when I came to Yale Divinity School as a second career, as a career change from a psychologist to Unitarian Universalist minister, and happened when I was here it was so fortunate that Mary Ellen Tucker and John Grimm had just come recently. And so I was able to be a part of their programs while I was in school and continued to follow that. But it reminded me when I went to this program how much I had connected with that work, because I've been off doing congregational ministry that was just claiming so much of my time. And when I went to the website thinking, well, I need to look into this more after the webinar, the whole page filled up with deep Deeptime Network. And there was a link that took over my entire everything. And I was like, what is this Deeptime Network? How is it I haven't heard of this before? And I've been casting about with this question of who am I now, given that my time has changed. I mean, I'm still a psychologist, I'm still a spiritual director, and I'm also still very much alive. And yet I wasn't sure. So that's how I found my way into Sarmeet's course, which was sort of a practice run to see who you all were. And now I'm here.
Oh,
Wow.
that's great. Thank you so
Wonderful.
much, Em.
Wonderful.
And Mary Evelyn and John Grimm are dear, dear friends, and their work is absolutely foundational, to everything that we are doing on the network. And I'm just going to ask everybody to mute yourselves unless you're talking. So if you could all just go ahead and mute yourselves, that would be great. Okay. Thank you so much for that, Em. Okay, Sarmeet.
Oh, all right. Yeah, so, I kind of believe that there's actually a saying that says that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And that's literally, I think, what happened with me is that I was reading a lot of Brian Swimme. I was introduced to Michael Dowd's work, and I was kind of searching for like-minded people that had the same kind of thinking. And then it just happened. One of my friends introduced me to Deeptime, and head over heels, I knew this was the right place for me. And that's how I feel, that because I was ready for this, it just appeared for me. And I've not been with Deeptime for that long. I don't know, 2 years, Jennifer? Something like that, maybe a little more than 2 years.
Maybe a little more than 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, a little more than 2 years. Time flies, but that's what got me into it. And I'm, as you know, I'm really very much a part of the community, and even a part of the folks that are now helping teach in the community. So I just feel like it's my home. It's just the right place for me. It's just a wonderful feeling to be part of this community.
Yeah, thank you, Sarmeet. And for those who don't know, Sarmeet is teaching the Quantum Wisdom course that's underway right now. And it's just an amazing course, looking at a quantum paradigm and then relating that to the cosmic story, the universe story, as a second pillar. That's so crucial for understanding ourselves inside of this bigger context, a more foundational context.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tess, tell us how you found out about and where you are. I know you're in the Philippines. What city are you in?
I'm down here in Mindanao, in the south.
Oh, wow.
In Lanao del Norte, where there are communities of, where Christian and Muslim communities live together. Yeah. My friends call me Tess, but if you see in the screen, my name is quite long, Maria Teresita, but yeah, I have a short name, so you can call me Tess. Obviously, it was Sister Anne Beliosilian who introduced me to this program. I've been working with the Medical Mission Sisters. Collaborating with them, particularly in their program, in a farm that they call HEAL, HEAL, and it's Haven for Ecological and Alternative Living. Actually, I was a professor before in the college department in exclusive school for girls. But because of the introduction of a new structure in education, K to 12, I was part of the Faculty of Theology Yeah. I finished my MA in theology, major in religious studies. But because of that change in structure, I was one of those who were retrenched, from. I mean, so I lost my job as a teacher, and that was uh, it was sad, no, really, really sad, no. But yeah, thinking about it, maybe it's maybe part again of the how how our life and the universe,
Yes.
continue its journey, and because of that, I found once again I crossed path with Sister Anne, and that was the time that I was invited by her and the community, to help her out. Since Sister Anne is not a teacher, by profession. So she sought my assistance when she introduced the program, the HEAL program, to an institute of formation and studies, and she needed assistance in making modules, and that is suited for formal education. So that was the time that I started working with her. Actually, in my studies, in my MA, Masteral Studies, I had, since the time I already had this interest, not only interest, but really passion, for the environment. And so my thesis actually, it was in writing my thesis when I met, Thomas Berry's work, work of Brian Swing,
Okay.
and since then, Universe Story. So since then, I started, in this embracing this how do you call that, this concept, not just concept, no, but I think it's really it's not just a concept, but it's something that I learned to to uh, to live out, no, and appreciate, no, it's appreciate this thinking, no, this way of looking at not just the environment, but the whole community of life.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Um,
That's great, Maria. So I'm
and
going to
so that's in that course. So I started to, yeah, that's the time that I began to journey with the universe.
Great. Thank you so much, Maria. That's great. Boy, it's just amazing how Thomas Berry and Brian Swim have found their way,
Yeah.
around the world
Yes.
in all these different communities. It's just truly remarkable. So just to say a little bit, just a very, very short thing about my own background. In 1997, I did the Earth Literacy Program with Sister Miriam McGillis at Genesis Farm. I'm sure you've been there, right, Mary? Yes. And it just utterly changed my life with what I was exposed to there. And it launched me on writing my books for children, doing teacher trainings all over, speaking at conferences, and becoming familiar with lots of different worlds that are looking at a grand narrative of the universe as foundational. And then wanting to found a network where people from these different lineages, if you will, could intersect with each other. And then we started to offer the online programs. And it's, one thing built upon another. And then Stephen Martin came into the picture, who is the director of the Deeptime Leadership Program and the lead teacher. And unfortunately, he couldn't be here tonight. It was kind of my mistake, my scheduling mistake. But he will be at the session 2 info session, just in case you want to meet him at that point. And he's an amazing person, a scientist. It's just great to have these scientists around like Sarmeet and Stephen and others, because, you know, we really have people who know the science. They're not just interpreting the science, but they know the science, you know, in its pure form. So, so ever since 1997, I've been doing this work, and I will be doing it. You know, this has just had a profound impact. So I'm going to show you the program, and then maybe we'll get some comments from the people who've been in the program, like Sarmeet. And then we'll see, you know, how could this, or how will this program help each of you in your own life? So let's first go to, wait, let me just get over here. Okay. So now I'm sure you may have looked at this already. We'll come back to part of that. So, you know, basically, what is it if leadership starts with the universe? What a crazy idea. Start with the universe, the biggest context of all. And Sarmeet, if I could just ask you to let people in if you see them, okay? That would be great. Let's see, Sarmeet is there. You are there, right, Sarmeet?
Yes, I'm still here, and I will continue to do that.
Okay, it's fine to take the video off. I just want to make sure that you're still watching to see if people are coming in.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Thanks.
terrific. Don't hesitate to turn the video off. So, you know, what does that change, you know, when we're looking at the universe as the starting point, or as the Thomas Berry says, our source and our destiny, our source and our destiny. And then, you know, looking at cutting edge ideas in cosmology and earth wisdom. So I really love the term that Thomas Berry uses, a functional cosmology. A functional cosmology is something that, you know, unleashes our excitement and our zest for life. And it guides us because we're looking to the universe as teacher. It's not only about humans. It's about the bigger picture. You know, the universe has been on this journey for 13.8 billion years. Where are we now in that amazing journey? And of course, you can read this in detail anytime. I just want to touch on a couple things here. Deep time leadership. What's a deep time leader? You know, a deep time leader has that really big perspective. And it's where you refer everything back to this larger perspective. You know, this phrase, radical relationality, that's such a core thing. This is coming out loud and clear in Sarmeet's course in quantum wisdom. What are the deep time attitudes? You know, attitudes of awe and reverence and gratitude. And here again, listening. You know, the power of listening is so important for leadership. You know, to be a leader, you also have to listen. And then how do we use that perspective and the tools that we can get inside of this perspective to activate and excite others? And, you know, just come back and read all of these at your leisure. I'm going to come back to our presenters in a minute. So I'm sure some of you have heard of the 4 wisdom traditions that Thomas Berry talks about. That's the indigenous, classical, science, and wisdom, and women. So we're bringing all of those to bear inside this leadership program. So it's got the ecology, justice through diversity, equity, and inclusion, and then personal well-being. And you heard Sarmeet say just a minute ago about how when he came into this community, he felt at home. And this is what we hear all the time. People feel they're at home. They feel the sense of well-being because all these things come together. There isn't anything that's left out. And so you get to follow your allurements and work on projects, inside of this synergistic field that's created with people coming together across the world. We had 108 people in the last program. And so we had 9 people from China. We had 16 people from the Philippines. We had people from Germany and Mexico, and many people from Australia, New Zealand. And all these places are look like they're coming through all over again for this year. We'll work on a project. So there are 3 modules. The first module is introducing the new cosmology. So this is where we go into the science and the philosophy of the new cosmology. Module 2 is applying it. So, this is not just about, learning about it, but it's how do you put it into life? Putting it into life in education, in psychotherapy. A third of the people in the last program were religious. They were Catholic sisters and priests and ministers. So it's a very strong and large contingent of the people who come into this program. Module 3 will be the leadership practicum. So this is where people really focus on their projects and they help each other. And it's just very exciting to see what happens. And I'm going to show you in a minute what the certified leaders described about their projects. Okay, so how is Deeptime Leader different? Again, you can come back and look at this when you like. These Deeptime mini stories are really wonderful to read. It tells you like the personal impact on different people of this work and our theory of change. How do you change something? As we can't just hate things and try to oppose things. We have to, what are we in love with? What are we in love with? What is captivating us? What is drawing us forth from the future? And I keep coming back to this quantum wisdom course that Sarvneet is teaching, and that is, what it means to be called from the future, not just reacting to the past. It's a totally different stance. And that's what comes out in Deeptime Leadership, because you're not just reacting, but you're creating inside this vast field of, I would say, cosmogenetic energy. The whole cosmos is creating. It's not just humans. We're part of a huge cosmic field of creativity. You can come back and read these comments from people who've been in our programs. Toolkit, we do a lot with meditations in the program, and anybody who's getting certified leads a meditation. And we're even developing the mentoring of people who are getting certified in the art of, leading deep time meditations. We're going to even enhance that program more this year. Who's this for? Honestly, it's for everyone. I mean, who's not in the universe? Okay. I mean, the way I look at this is it's a formation program. This is a formation program. It's formation inside the cosmos. And this is what we need now. All of our religious traditions, all of our all of our work with governments, all of our work with nonprofits needs to be recontextualized inside of this cosmic context, Because if we don't have the cosmic context, where are we? Where are you if you haven't like figured out that you're in a universe? And what is this universe? Do you understand and love it? You know, that's the operative question that Maria Montessori said. She said, it's not enough for the teacher to love the child. She must first love and understand the universe. You could say that about everything, whether you're a religious leader, whether you're a therapist, whatever you are, must first love and understand the universe. So we have a learning management system where people interact with each other in very engaging, oh good, thank you, Sarvneet, in very engaging online conversations. Okay, I'm going to come back to pricing later. All right, let's go look at comments. These are comments from people who have taken the program already. Here's Jenny is from Australia. She recorded a comment. Take your time to look at these. Here is Hasina from South Africa. She also recorded something. They're just wonderful to listen to. These are the certified leaders. And we've got a certified leader right in our midst here, Ken. Hi, Ken. Yeah. So you can see all the different fields of application, art and education. Argery works with the Sisters of Loretto in Ohio. And then Seema is a indigenous from India. And Corinna's from Germany, working in the arts. Odile in spirituality. Judith Keller, also spirituality in the arts. So you can see the variety here. Lisa is a psychotherapist, and she's completely reoriented her work now by placing it inside of a deep time perspective. And Clifford is doing wonderful work at the intersection of education and the arts. He will be a teacher in this upcoming program. Katrina and Brian, and there's Ken. And Orla Hazra, she's on our board, and she teaches in the program too, like philosophy of education, religious education. And what is religious education inside of a cosmic context? Okay, so let's see here. We looked at that. Okay, the teachers, of course, this is crucial. Here's Stephen, who's an astronomer, and he's director of the leadership program and the lead teacher. So he is, guiding the program throughout all 3 modules, and he's an astounding lecturer. The way he responds to people's comments and ties them to the bigger themes that are being discussed is truly amazing. And let me point out, Imogene Drummond is a filmmaker, and Brian Swim will be teaching in the program in the first module, Sarvneet in the first module, Cliff, again, Orla. Margie Abbott from Australia will be working with the people getting certified. She'll be mentoring them regarding meditations. Dwayne and Colleen Elgin, I'm sure many of you have heard of them. Sam Guarnacha is a composer. He composed the Emergent Universe Oratorio. Angela Mano is a remarkable artist. And then going on to module 2. So module 2 is application. So this is where we apply it. And I will talk about education, how it's being applied in education, as Orla will too. And then Matt Cobb will be talking about adaptive leadership. Marianne Rowe on emergent dialogue. Kim Bella is a psychologist, so she's going to show how it's being applied in psychology. And Lisa also will show how it's being applied, and MJ Zimmerman, all three of them will be showing how it's applied in psychotherapy. Matt Fox, we all know Matt. And Sarmeet, yay. Bill Halal is a businessman, and he's going to talk about technology, the role of technology inside of birthing, you know, what this is all about, birthing an ecozoic era. How does technology play a role? And Mary Evelyn will be in our third module. Yona French Hawk is a full-blooded Cherokee wisdom keeper, and he leads really, really wonderful rituals. Okay, let me just take a minute here to see if there is a question. Hi, Margaret. Nice to see you. You could just unmute.
Okay, hi. Oh, how are you, Jennifer?
Very good, very good. I'm glad you could make it. I was happy to see your name on the list.
Oh, thank you.
Good,
Thank
good.
you.
And you're in India, is that right? Are you in India?
No, I'm in San Francisco.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
Okay,
just for a few more days. Then I'll be returning to India on Thursday.
Oh, okay, great. And
Yeah.
you know Orla Hazra, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
Okay, terrific. All right.
Yeah.
So let me just stop for a minute and see if there are any questions.
I have a pragmatic question.
Yeah.
So is the structure of, I noticed that there are two times a week as there is in Sarmeet's course. Is that the primary structure, that plus the discussion topics is that how we meet each other? Or are there other breakouts that happen that over the course of the nine months? I'm wondering about how you come into these opportunities for collaboration and synergy and feeding off of each other's allurements as you go through it together.
Yeah, that's a great question, and thank you. So you'll be put into a pod group that you will be with for the entire program. So there's a combination of bonding in a small group, and then there's also times when people are just mixed up randomly so that you can get to meet other people in the program. So that structure has worked pretty well. We're going to refine a few things from last year. So that's where the action happens. And then you can also connect through the course discussion. And we're also going to be bringing in some new technology this year that we did not have last year. That's going to facilitate having groups. So for example, let's say the therapists want to work together. So they will be able to use this technology to communicate more easily with each other. So we're learning about that, with the technology. And we did have it last year, but what we're going to have is going to be better. And then, as you begin to get to know people, which, happens pretty quickly, people start just meeting outside of the program. That's what they just, they just start forming groups, and then they just go on. And there are groups that are still meeting now, from prior programs that have just continued to meet. Yeah.
Jennifer, I have a question about time. When does this webinar, or however you're constructing this, when does it happen? During working hours or?
Yeah, great. Okay, yeah, I should have just gone right into that. Let me just show you, okay, how that works. Okay, so let's go back to, okay. So we meet every week. There's some breaks. And there are two sections. So there's a Wednesday section and there's a Friday section. The content for both days is the same. So you can choose to meet with the Wednesday group. You can choose to meet with the Friday group. You can also come to both. We will want to find out which is your home section, because that's where you'll, become committed to a pod group. But you're welcome to go to the other one too. We'll just want to know which one is your home day. So the one on Wednesday is from 7 to 9. And the one on Fridays is from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Now, obviously, this is East Coast time.
Right.
So you'd have to, and you can use this time calculator to figure out.
We're on the same, we're ET.
Okay, yeah. And wait, so does that answer that question for you?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay,
Mhm.
great. Yeah, good. Okay, let me just show some pricing stuff, because I know that's obviously, a big question. All right, so we have, okay, so you can, if you bring in a group, you can get some serious price breaks. So it's really nice if you can bring in a group of 4 or more. If you do it by yourself, and you do it without a certificate, that would be this price. If you do it with a certificate, it would be this price. And then if you do group, you can get this price, or with a certificate, this price. Now we also have an installment plan. So you just click here and that'll show you, the installment. The installment plan is over 9 months. So you can take these numbers and divide them by 9, and then you'd know what the monthly payment would be. And then we do have some scholarship money, that we can help people with. We're trying to use as much of that money as possible to support people who are coming from other countries. But, if that's an important issue for you, then, just get in touch and we'll see what we can do. We have, I mean, this is important for you, Mary, and for you, we have 13 Dominicans from San Rafael are coming in together. So, so they can get a nice, they get this price break. So that's great. And the other thing about coming in as a group is that if you do this as a group, then you're going to be with all these people you're working with or who are in your community who are being exposed to this material. And then you can have ongoing contact with them to really integrate it. Because, wait, Ken, are you here? Is Ken still here? Maybe we lost Ken. No, there you are, Ken. Ken and I just got on a little bit ahead of you, and Ken was saying, Ken just did the program, got certified, and he wants to come back and do the whole program all over again. And what, and Ken is not the only one. We already have 7 people from the last program who have enrolled in this program. Now, why are they doing that? They're doing that because this material is so rich that you can just keep going to a deeper level. It's like a spiral, you go around and then you go to another level. But it also speaks to the importance of being around other people. who
Mm.
have it, who have the perspective, you know,
Yeah.
because otherwise you just kind of go out into your own world and it kind of gets lost. So it's just as if at all possible to bring in other people, you know, we want to support that and help make that happen for you. And here, of course, you know, and if any of you can make a donation to help other people, we're always looking for, you know, donations to help people come in. All right, so let's see. Did I show you all this stuff up here? We did that. The comments. Oh, another thing, I don't know if this matters to any of you, but we just got word. This just happened. So exciting. Antioch
Mhm.
is offering credit for 9 credits, up to 9 credits for this program. So that would be inside their individualized Master of Arts program. So anyway, that's another thing to think about. You know, if you know somebody else, we'd love to get more young people, you know, in the program. In this way, they can get credit, and we're hoping to get other institutions, you know, who will offer credit as well. Comments, certified, deep time. We talked about the teachers. Yeah, okay. All right. What other questions? Oh.
Jennifer, I have raised my hand.
Yeah.
I had taken the admission, if you remember, with a group admission by Orla, and I had to drop out because the time was not suitable for me. So now, given the time now, 7 p.m. Eastern time suits me best because it is 7:30 a.m. and it's a best suitable time for India. So I may think of joining again. I'll speak to
Okay.
Orla.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Terrific. Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent. That sounds great.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let me just ask the question, how could a program like this help you?
Me?
Yeah. How about you? Why don't you start, Margaret?
Yeah. It has got great potentials for the leadership for today. Leadership for today, we don't need leadership which is very patriarchal, dominating, but the leadership which is coming from the perspective of all concerns, especially the earth. And we are the earth community, and the community is at stake, I feel. And for that, this course as a leadership is very much important for me from Indian perspective.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in doing that.
Yeah, that's great. And you have, you know, there are a number of people in India. Robert Athakal.
Yeah.
And the Taro Mitra in Pune, India, have been an important part of our program.
Right.
Yeah. How about you,
And
Em?
Seema.
And Seema,
you know.
yes, of course.
Yeah.
Seema, exactly. How about you, Em? How could this program help you in your life journey?
Am I just trying to get myself unmuted there? You know, I look in different directions and I see different ways that it's helpful, but I think I need to do this integrative work of having a seamless cosmology that that holds the well, I want to say that holds my heart or my soul. So for me personally, the idea that I could actually have, it's through this deeper understanding that we've been touching in Sarbmeet's course that takes my reverence and awe and wonder at the living world, which now I get it, the living universe, that's the same cosmology that is the fire in my soul. It's very powerful. And I almost feel like it's been like, okay, well, there's the reverence and awe part of me, and there's the deep heart-centered part of me. But the fact that it's all of a whole, I mean, of course, that sounds so obvious, but it's experientially, it hasn't really been true. And so that's very personal to me. And if that's all I got from it, boy, wouldn't that be a gift. But I also feel that because of the religious landscape that I move about in, I work with many seekers, people who are either they're spiritually ungrounded because they haven't found in their faith origins a cosmology that makes sense with who they know themselves to be, or they've had mystical experience that they don't have a framework to hold it within. And in that work, of course, one is deeply respectful of creating a contemplative space for people to do their own interior work. But I think my own capacity expands with this kind of wisdom. So that probably sounds very vague, but that's what's exciting me right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the idea of expanding is very much what this work is all about. I'm just going to ask Sarbmeet and Ken, since you both have done the program, Sarbmeet, what was the program for you?
Yeah. So one thing I will say about going through the program is that it completely changed my viewpoint on what leadership is. I have had a long career in the corporate world where I managed a lot of people. And the idea of leadership that I had in my head was one that basically encompasses managing people, getting them to do the stuff that you want them to do, managing projects, getting things to happen. So a lot of effort, that's what, when I think about leadership, it's like, wow, you have to put a lot of effort into it. And really what I got from the course was that there is really a different kind of leadership, and the kind of leadership that we really need in the world today that doesn't require effort. What it really requires is to get to know yourself better. So it's almost like an exploration of what it is that attracts you. What is it that lures you? In deep time we call them allurements. These are the things that we are attracted to want to do because they are basically coming from deep inside of us. And what I got is that once you know what those things are, then your leadership emerges out of you. It's not that you have to put a lot of effort into it. It simply comes out as the things that you feel passionate about, that you want to communicate with others, that you want to see happen in the world. And that overflowing of your allurements is what I have now come to understand is deep time leadership. And so that was a real eye-opening, awakening kind of a thing for me personally. In addition to the connections that I was able to make with the other people in the program, and those connections have been absolutely transformative for me in terms of just getting to know people and their ideas and being able to share and communicate with them and to learn new things from them and to be able to teach them new things. That by itself, I think, is one of the amazing things that happens once you become part of the community that is in the course. So yeah, it's been really, really good for me.
Thank you so much, Sarmeet. Sarmeet said, when did you say this, Sarmeet? It must have been about a year ago.
Yeah.
I'd really like to teach this material. And then the universe just took over.
I know, exactly.
Just took right over.
So true, so true. And that's what I mean by not having to put effort into it.
Yeah.
Things just happen. It's just amazing. You just watch them happen.
Yeah.
It's,
Ken, how about you? What did the experience do for you?
First, it confirmed something that I had experienced in the 90s. I had some personal tragedy in my life. My first wife had passed away from cancer, and I had a daughter and a son, teenage daughter and son. So I was in a sort of a dark place. I had to sort of get out of it. And I used to go out to a high school track and just walk around and run around at night for exercise. I used to run anyways, but I really got to like doing it at night, because then I could, once I got done, and I like from being winded and everything, and then you were sort of recovering. I got this feeling that I was connected to this powerful, uh, powerful universe, and so I felt it, and but I wasn't sure whether I was on the right track or not. I thought, well, maybe I just had a lot of oxygen in my system, at the time. But I think this is a confirmation. The other thing on the leadership, something like what Professor Carmel was saying, my experience of leadership was sort of like a chain of command, and sometimes it's hard to it's hard to develop in a chain of command, and it's hard to help other people who you might be under you to develop them. We're really, from what I see, this leadership is something that you are always in. It starts with you. You're leading yourself, and so it's coming from a very fundamental force from the universe, but it's coming through you. And whether you're with 10 people who might be in a bus that broke down, or whether you're by yourself driving through the pines in New Jersey, the leadership is there. And it doesn't mean you have all the answers, but I think it leaves you with the confidence that that if you don't have the answers, you will find them, when you need them.
Oh, that's so beautiful, Ken. That's just so powerful and so beautiful.
amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that, Ken.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Mary, and we've got about 2 minutes left. We can go over for just a little bit, but I do want to let people go shortly. But Mary, how can you see this program helping you and your organization and Matthew?
Well, I'm very sure it would be so beneficial. I keep thinking, oh, if we could get more people. You know, the demise of religious communities is happening, so the pool gets smaller. And so, but we have some young master's program, master degree people working with us. We need to put our energy there, and I have trouble convincing the powers that be to do that. So I will give it my best effort, but that's what I think needs to happen.
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just changes the entire frame. Yeah.
yeah. So help me pray about that, will you please, all of you?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, just, and put it out there, put the message out.
We have
Yeah.
an associate program as well. I mean, those are also people that could certainly use this. So,
Yeah,
thank you.
that would be wonderful, Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, it is 8 o'clock, and I know Tess, you're already in the program, so you have a whole exciting 9 months ahead of you, and we get to know you, and we get to know the other 5 people coming from the Philippines. That's very exciting.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I feel more excited after listening to Ken and Serb.
Yeah, exactly. And just know there were 106 other people who were in the program as well. And it feels intimate, and it feels big at the same time. It's an interesting intersection between intimacy and grandness, because you feel the connections to so many parts of the world. But at the same time, you can really bond with other people. You don't feel anonymous in this great big pond, Yeah. Okay, well, let me just read a quote so that we can finish. And of course, you can contact me anytime whatsoever with any questions. And as I say, Steve will be at the info session on Tuesday, and he is quite extraordinary. So would be wonderful to meet him if you're at all interested in doing that. Okay. Again, this is another Brian Swim quote. Our ancestry stretches back through the life forms and into the stars, back into the beginnings of the primeval fireball. This universe is a single, multiform, energetic unfolding of matter, mind, intelligence, and life. So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. This
Have a
was
good
really
night
rich.
or a good day,
you.
wherever you are.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.